Welcome to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about my top 10 designer picks for the summer, so stay tuned. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more fragrance reviews, cologne comparisons, and top lists. Now I'm going to have one honorable mention in this list, and that is going to be Dolce & Gabbana The One Grey. Why is this an honorable mention? Well, I do love The One EDP a lot. This is a fresher version of that. The tobacco note is much more subdued, and there's a nice, fresh, citrusy top that does also have a little bit more of a woody quality to it. It's nice, but to me, I guess it's just not unique enough from The One to really warrant me purchasing it, since I already own The One. So while I do like it, and I do think it gets a lot more hate than it deserves, for me, it's not really something I'm gonna go out and buy myself. For my number 10 position, I'm going with Versace Man Eau Fresh. This is really just an easy pick for the summer. It's fresh, it's airy, it opens up with a nice clean citrus, and I actually pick up a little bit of a grassy type accord, which is actually quite nice. So to me, it comes off as this very airy, fresh, light fragrance with a nice kind of grassy, kind of sweet, citrusy quality to it. So this is an enjoyable one. This is one a lot of people love, so this is a mass pleaser, and it does hold up well in the heat. The only downside, I guess, is that I don't get great performance with it, maybe about 5 hours, but it isn't too hard to find a bottle of this for a very reasonable price. So when the price is that good, reapplying is not a complaint that I have. And that is my number 10. My number 9 position goes to Montblanc Starwalker. This is one I don't hear about a lot, but it is a great cheapie from Montblanc. This one can be found for under $30, and it has a really, really nice bamboo note that I think gives it a woody green quality that's really a little bit unique, because I don't see bamboo being used a lot. This has a very nice citrusy opening that then dries down into a nice woody fragrance, again with that bamboo in it, which really makes it a nice, interesting, easy to wear fragrance. All in all, this is very cheap, and it smells really, really nice, and it is a bit of a mass pleaser. So this is an easy wear. You can wear this more or less any occasion in the summer, and it's not going to offend anybody, and it is really, really nice. So that is my number 9 spot. My number 8 spot goes to Chanel Allure Homme Sport. I actually prefer this one to the Eau Extreme, which I find to be a little bit too in your face. This one is really, really quite nice. Opens up with a nice citrusy accord and a hint of spiciness that gives it a little bit of interest in the opening. And then the spiciness dies down, the citruses stay there, and it remains this nice, airy, easy to wear fragrance. I even get a little bit of a hint of woodiness, and this one does also perform quite well. So I get about 8 hours on my skin. It's not a beast mode projector, but it certainly does project nicely for a few hours, and then dies down a little bit more towards the skin scent territory for the remainder of the life. But all in all, this one does perform well. It performs well as a summer scent, and it does have this nice orangey mandarin touch that really makes it very enjoyable. So this is one that, people really enjoy. This is one that can get compliments as well, and I enjoy this one. I think people put maybe a little bit too much hype into the Eau Extreme, when I find it to be a little bit unpleasant, actually, and I prefer this one quite a great deal. So I wasn't quite sure where to put this one. I decided to put it on the designer list because it's quite inexpensive, although it's definitely not a designer. It's really not really niche either, and that is Armaf Le Parfait. Now, this has sometimes been described as Aventus and Git. I don't know that I would really describe it that way. To me, I get a really nice, well-rendered GIT with pineapple top. So that's basically what you get. You get a nice pineapple-y, lemony opening, and then you get the GIT dry down. So it has that nice lemon verbena and the grassiness. It's really quite enjoyable. And I actually like it a lot. And if you enjoy the citrusy aspect of Green Irish Tweed or any of the various clones, this is probably a good one to look at, because I find it a lot more citrus heavy in the opening, and the citruses do last a little bit longer. And of course, the price is right. This one is very, very inexpensive as well, and it smells great. So easy to wear. You can wear this from the office. It does fairly well in the warm weather as well. And, reapplying this one isn't a problem. I mean, I do get decent performance with this one. And I mean, I get decent longevity with this one. It lasts about 5 or 6 hours, but again, this one's extremely cheap, so I don't mind reapplying. But this is one that's not going to offend people either. You can wear this one in the office. It has a little bit of class to it, as it does mimic Green Irish Tweed quite a lot. But it also overall has a little bit of uniqueness too by adding that pineapple note. I mean, I think the main reason I don't get the Aventus comparison is that it definitely has none of the birch. So I don't pick up on any birch. I get Green Irish Tweed plus pineapple. But it is a great combination, and you should check that one out. Number 6 on my list is Mugler Crypto Mint. I really like this one a lot because it has a nice punchy mint in it, and there are actually gourmand aspects. So this one is really something that I feel is a little bit wearable in the summer, even though it is a gourmand. So a lot of the gourmands that I have and that I love, I typically only wear in the fall and winter because they are often very sweet and very powerful. And so in the hotter weather, that becomes way too heavy. It starts to get overly sweet. But that's not really the case with Crypto Mint. I think the mint sort of tames the chocolate aspect. And I mean, if you've ever had those Girl Guide cookies that are chocolate mint, this is kind of what you get with Crypto Mint. It opens up with this nice punchy mint and this undertone of sweet chocolate that does dry down into a nice chocolatey gourmand fragrance. So I actually really enjoy this one a lot. My number 5 spot goes to none other than Viktor and Rolf Spice Bomb Fresh. Now personally, I love the Spice Bomb DNA a lot. I think it's really great. I love the spiciness. I love extreme. I love the balance between spicy and sweetness. And I do kind of get this nice Coca-Cola vibe when I wear it. But extreme is something that I have not been able to pull off in the summer, and Spice Bomb Fresh does that really well. So it has toned down spices, although there is still some light spice. There's a lot of citruses in the opening, and there is this sort of salty accord as well. So there's added salt, added citruses, and something in this fragrance also really gives me a bit of a watery feel without treading into the traditional sort of sweet aquatic territory. So it has this more of a fresh water vibe to it with a nice citrusy saltiness. And I do like this one a lot. It has good performance, it has good projection, and I do really enjoy wearing this one in the summer, and this is definitely one I'm going to be wearing more as well. And I mean, if you like that Spice Bomb DNA as much as I do, I like this one a lot, and I prefer it over Night Vision, which to me doesn't really remind me of Spice Bomb at all. So this one has a little bit still of that Spice Bomb DNA, but still has the added freshness, and it's very, very enjoyable. So I do enjoy that one. My number 4 spot is Lalique Encre Noir Sport. I like this one a lot because I think it's more unique for a summer fragrance. It's not perhaps the most unique fragrance in the world, but as a summer fragrance, it most certainly is. So it stays away from like the aquatic territory and the heavy citruses. And what I get from this is a very dark, heavy vetiver with an inky vibe in the opening. And that does dry down to a nice vetiver that actually kind of has a marshy quality. So maybe I can picture tall grass in the water. And so it doesn't come across at all sweet. It doesn't have that sort of bubblegum vibe that a lot of people put on Invictus. And it certainly doesn't have that sweet aquatic vibe. It does have a bit of a watery aspect to it later in the life. But really it's one of these things that is really nice, reminds me of being outdoors. It's very green and grassy, and it just smells good. And I think it's actually fairly classy as well because it has that nice clean grassiness. Another benefit to this one I find is that there is a bit of a soapiness there. And so when this one dries down and it starts to get a little soapy, it's really nice for the summer heat because essentially you're going to be outside, it's very hot, you might be sweating, and it keeps you smelling soapy, keeps you smelling clean. So now we are at the top 3. This is the best of the best. Honestly, this was a very difficult list to pick and very hard to rank because I do enjoy all of these fragrances a lot. But my number 3 spot goes to none other than Acqua di Gio Absolute Instinct. Now, it was really, really hard for me to pick this one over Acqua di Gio Profumo, which I do like a lot. I really like the really fresh, salty sea breeze aspect that one has. The one thing that I like about this one, aside from being a bit of a newer flanker, is that it has a really dark resinous woodiness to it, and it gives me a different picture of the ocean. So if you think maybe instead of a, ocean beach with the fresh sea breeze and that salty air and all that, instead this is more like a rugged, rocky beach with a lot of wood strung about and seaweed on the rocks, and it just gives this different sort of aspect of the ocean that I really enjoy a lot. And it stays away from the really fresh, citrusy sort of aspects that are in the original Acqua di Gio. So I do like this one a lot. It's a new one. This is a mass pleaser. This is one that can get you compliments for sure. And I do definitely enjoy the aspect that it brings another dimension, I guess, to the sort of oceanic smell that I've come to associate with Acqua di Gio. So that is my number 3 spot. The well-deserved and new release, Acqua di Gio Absolute Instinct. My number 2 spot also goes to a new release this year, and that is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. So from what I've heard of the light blue line, there's a lot of flankers that were unnecessary or not very good with respect to the original. This one certainly, I think, meets the standards of the light blue line, in my opinion. It has this really great grapefruit that develops over the life of the opening, and it's nice, it's tart, it's a little bit bitter, a little bit dewy, and really has this airy, fresh quality that really does make me think of, a glistening grapefruit in the sun. So it's very fresh, very airy, very friendly and easy to wear. This is something you can just throw on and not think about it. It is a little bit newer, so it has that aspect. Not everyone smelled it, although it definitely retains a lot of similarities to Light Blue and Light Blue O Extreme. This is a very enjoyable one. I like it a lot. I'm definitely going to be wearing it in the summer, and that is my number 2 spot. My number 1 spot, this was a very difficult pick, is another one from Thierry Mugler, and that is Thierry Mugler Cologne. This is a classic soapy fragrance, and it's done so well. This has a nice Irish green, fresh bar of soap vibe to it. And one of the things I really enjoy about this fragrance is somewhere along the life of this one, it certainly starts to smell like you can really picture the lather on the bar of soap as you're wearing it, as you're smelling it. So this one is really fresh, very clean, very well done for the summer. It's just going to keep you smelling fresh and clean without being, too sweet or too ridiculous or anything that a lot of fragrances might be. This one is just fresh, clean, easy to wear. The only downside to this one, I think, is that it doesn't have the best performance. I get maybe 5 hours with it. But again, this is one you can get quite cheaply, so I don't mind respraying in that situation. And this is just one that's enjoyable, easy to wear. Anyways, guys, that's my top 10 list. What are you guys looking forward to wearing this summer? Let me know in a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.